These people need no introduction.
No, they don't.
Like, if you're in Vegas, first of all, if you're at a game, nights, if you're out.
A soccer field.
A soccer field. If you're school drop-off.
Yep.
You know, you can't miss them there.
Driving on the freeway.
I just feel like an introduction would insult them because there's so much that they are, first of all, so giving to the community, but just... You can't be in Vegas and not know who the Galindos are.
Yep.
There's no way. So today we have Josh and Krystal Galindo on our podcast. I don't know how we reeled them.
I have never felt so special before. I don't know if I agree with all of that, but...
What our guests feel like, but I mean, lubing them up.
Yeah, we go.
Thank you. That was
Make it nice and easy for you, Josh.
Well.
Just kidding. Nice and lube. I don't know how we got so lucky, honestly, because we've been on your podcast and we were like, holy shit, we're on the Galindo's podcast. They want us to have. We don't have any we can't serve them. Yeah, we can't. There's nothing we could get. Like, we're no information for anybody except for like how not to parent. Yeah. But when we did it, we had so much fun, and I was like, Krystal, we have to have you guys on. And then you actually reached out to me. You're like, we would love to have you guys on. I go, but no, wait, can we have you on ours, please? And you have a studio? Because I never wanted to have you guys over because you'd have to sit in our kitchen or our living room.
There's no judgment there, though. Yeah,
I know.
I mean, this is pretty, though.
I couldn't ask Josh to sit crisscross applesauce
at our kitchen table with like syrup left over from the morning. We got to like scrub the house right before. It's a whole process.
I know, it's a process. So
we just invaded your space.
Yeah, so thank you.
I love it, yes.
And it's beautiful.
How amazing
Thank
is it?
you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys put a lot of work and energy into this. Like, you could feel it when you sit down. It feels so easy. Like, we walked in, we were ready to go in like 5 minutes.
Walk in, sit down, hit record.
That's the beauty of Galindo Media.
There we go. See?
Talk about that a little bit, because that's like a new venture of yours, right?
Mm-hmm. So Galindo Media was born a little bit interestingly. I was expanding to the back. I understand how valuable social media is now that I've been investing in it and putting energy in that direction. So I wanted the agents to have a space to come and produce content. So in my mind, I was just going to build a box and allow them to put a phone on a tripod. At least the box would be beautiful. But like, as far as production and lighting and all of that stuff, that would be on them, and editing and then posting. So a buddy of mine named Luis, who I'd been playing a lot of pickleball with, he had built a podcast room at his old business for his business. And then he just was like, I'm going to throw it up on like rentmypodcastroom.com. And he did really well. And so he had some history behind the success of renting out the podcast room. Anyway, and then when he heard me talking about how I was going to build a podcast and he had all the equipment, he was like, hey, I think we got a beautiful marriage here. If we put our energies together, we can create a podcast room that we could rent.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was just supposed to be that. And then it morphed into like Galindo Media, which is a full service social media management company. So we can shoot content for you. We have videographers that come to you, shoot you, make you feel comfortable, teach you that, gaffes or mistakes or whatever are easily edited out, and then you just talk, and then we provide you with this beautifully edited, making you look like a rock star piece of content.
So you don't have to be a professional podcaster. You can just walk in, like, say, hey, these are my ideas, and you guys actually generate it so it looks like, wow, that's amazing.
And a lot of so the podcast is actually more of a setting for us to capture talking heads, is what we call them, and then they 15 20-second clips put into reels. Right. Anyway, so Galindo Media started that way. We pushed it hard to anybody that was needing that service, and today it's probably one of the fastest businesses I've ever became profitable on.
Really? No way.
Yeah. We were profitable within the first 2 months. That's crazy. It's only growing faster, and it's a great service, and I enjoy it, and it's good for all of the businesses, and our clients enjoy it. And it's a lot of fun. So that's Galindo Media.
I know. And what's great too is like, you guys use this space to kind of let people in on your lives too. Like, I love that about, and like you were saying earlier when we were talking before this, like, a lot of people like to know the story. Like, you know, before they get involved, or even people that work for you. Everyone that I know that I grew up with here that works for you, they love you guys. Like, and it just goes to show. But like, I feel like what you were saying though, like the story, and you're giving people a place to tell their story, to let these people, like, I'm not getting involved with just another realtor. I'm not getting involved with just someone. I'm getting involved with a family here in a way.
Yeah.
And I like that. I love that.
Keep going.
It's okay.
What is it doing?
I don't know. It's like timing out. It's never done this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We don't care. This is way better than our kitchen table. Don't worry. It's usually a
We've
sign
had
just hanging.
signs falling, lights falling.
It's cool. We're good.
Leave it in, whatever.
I'm leaving this in then.
Yeah, leave it in. We're fine with that.
It might be funny, actually.
It is. Leave it in. I don't
That's
care.
That's what I
don't
actually
give a
love
shit.
about your guys' approach to the whole thing. Is you're embracing the imperfection.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's easier to go the other way.
Yes.
To embrace perfection only and not release any content unless it's flawless.
I think there's a good portion of people who appreciate that too.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, there's not that it's fake if you edit little gaffes out, because I think that's good for the most part. But I think sometimes it lets people sort of behind the scenes.
Wait,
What?
your mic is not near your lips
Okay,
like it
sorry.
should be. No one taught
You
you
would
how to
know.
do that. Instead, you're pointing at your chin. I'm like, this is the first 10 years of our marriage.
I know, right?
Until
Thank
I
you.
learned how to do that
There's
correctly.
very little editing
Now I know,
here,
to
Louis.
the mouth.
Yes.
We'll just release
Oh yeah,
this
this is
one
all
raw.
normal shit. We just leave all this in.
Sorry, it was bothering me.
I should have adjusted it when you were doing it wrong.
Yes, you did. It would have been a lot less painful.
Yeah, whatever.
Go ahead. Sorry.
10 years of bad BJs.
Who knew? No teeth. I thought it was a texture thing. Like, I was like, maybe it was like, I don't know. I learned the hard way, literally. He was like, I was just hoping you'd stop at some point. I'm like, 10 fucking years? 10 years of this, and you're just telling me. It's like, I just would wait.
Until you were done.
How the fuck do we have 4
It
kids?
helped me last longer.
Probably
What do you
that's
want me
why.
to do?
I bet it did. You were raw as a dog. Maybe that was her intentions.
Exactly.
She's like, this will get the best out of him.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
forgot what I
man.
was saying. But like, yeah, like people like kind of looking behind the scenes. If everything isn't perfect like this, then I think they appreciate that, like them kind of being in on it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, you know, decrease the value of your content, then why not? You
Right.
know?
I think there's an argument that pieces of it increase the value of your
Sure.
content. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it shows people that you're real.
Yeah, I feel like people like perfection is intimidating. So for me, if I'm watching something that's like completely perfect, I'm like, that's not real.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested. It doesn't like
Yeah.
catch my eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I think it's fun. And also, I mean, for us, like, we're very low budget. Like, where's this not our setup, obviously. We,
Low.
like, legit, we'll hit record an hour, and then not edit a single thing sometimes.
But
And it's
we're
beautiful.
We're
Yeah.
capable of editing. Like I can. I'm actually very good at that portion of it. Like you guys have your roles when it comes to our business. The $200 a month we make,
Not quite as profitable as this media business yet.
we're almost to our $25,000 studio though.
Yeah, right.
Just 10 more years. He will do a lot of the like
The planning. Yeah.
the very like analytical part of it. Whereas I'm like, okay, I'll put headphones on and I'll edit and I'll make it whatever. If there's something somebody says that they don't like that's one thing we do on our podcast too. When we have guests, we're like, you have full say. Like if you said something that you're not proud of or whatever, we'll take it out, whatever. But yeah, that's been like my kind of role in that.
Do you enjoy that? part?
You know what I do? I like doing it because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I am good at it.
You are good at it. I think there was a challenge, like us figuring that out though at the
Yeah.
beginning, like
Oh.
because I had my own expectations of like, okay, we cut the podcast. I need 7 reels. I wanted to post on this day, and me forcing that on her wasn't always fun. She's like, no, I've been crazy running around with the kids all day. I don't want to go edit right now during the 1 hour of nothing that I have. So we had to kind of navigate those waters, and it wasn't easy. Like that,
Yeah.
it created a lot of tension with the podcast because sometimes it was like forcing it where
Sure.
this was more
Instead
of
of
like
taking the fun and
yeah,
fun out of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it is sort of like a passion project and a elevated hobby, for lack of a better term. But like, we want to make it better, and we got to sort of take certain things more seriously sometimes.
Yeah, and I learned. Learning.
Aye,
She's
Captain.
so
I have a
funny.
calendar now. You would
You don't look
die
at.
if you saw what he sends me every day. I'm sure you guys are every single day or every night he'll send me a list of what we have to do, and like do you have your phone? I have to show
in
her.
relation to the podcast or
No,
life?
No,
just
just
our
for
day.
life.
Okay. Wow, every day, bro.
Every day.
I'm honestly surprised it took me 15 years to start doing this. Like we were just freeballing it for 10 years,
Yeah.
her not knowing what the fuck was going on all day.
Some people do that with blowjobs, and some people do that with calendars.
Yeah.
Give me, I want to
minds.
show her
Okay.
because you'll appreciate this. Because
I actually didn't send it for today because we were out late last night.
oh yeah, but
What did you guys do last night?
we did our podcast. We tried a studio. I don't really love it, but so like he'll send me this every day with emojis and the time.
Oh my God.
Our
What a
day.
great
So
husband.
Isn't he wonderful?
Yes.
I'm not
got
incompetent.
demonic devices.
Can you screenshot it and send it to me so I can edit that in?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, awesome. It's just literally our day, and I know what we're doing, but he likes to be very specific about what we're doing.
What does
Every single-
5 Mackins get up with Kevin mean?
That's when I have to get up with the dog.
The dog.
Everybody gets up except for her.
Yeah.
No, we switched. We used to
No,
switch.
you had it right.
Fuck these dogs.
know.
Why?
You guys.
Is this a puppy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's a pup. That's right. I did
Yeah.
see the puppy.
Yeah.
He's
Sorry, I
not-
knew that. These fucking
He's
new
definitely not a
dogs.
cockapoo.
My buddy
He's not
Jeff
a
just did
cockapoo.
this, and his whole life was his damn dog.
Yep.
All right, 8:30 pickup Charlie.
He's
Yeah.
ugly.
9 Danielle car wash. Oh, these are the times.
Yeah,
Yes.
9. These are
Like
yeah,
I break
this-
it down hour by hour what we should
Are
be
you
doing.
embarrassed? Should I
Wow,
not show
5
them that?
a.m.
No, I
bro?
don't care. What's that?
5 a.m.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or
Congratulations.
350.
Yeah.
All right,
Some
pick up-
days it's fuck. Yeah.
Charlie. Danielle gets a car wash.
Yep.
Got to get to work.
Yep.
Mackin goes to work. Danielle picks up the boys. Fuck yeah. Mackin working out
Yeah, every
and
day.
shave.
Yeah.
I love the emojis. They're killer.
Every day there isn't it's so funny.
Mac and Costco pick up with a bus logo. Dude, there's fucking a shopping cart emoji, a bus emoji, a phone call emoji, a razor blade, a working out guy. Like you are fucking dialed.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how she remembers
He loves it.
With
Play in the
visual.
If it's
Yes.
just all white text, she's I don't fucking need this.
Yeah.
Danielle, get ready. Mac and get ready.
I'm surprised we do anything.
Who's Ga?
My mom.
Grandma.
You call her that?
My
Yeah.
my nephew coined the name Ga.
That's cool.
She wanted to be called Jacqueline.
I
but
like unique grandma, grandpa names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
it is fun.
And drinks with Aaron. This is a fucking great day.
Yeah, right? That was a packed day. And then at the end, I'm like, "Is there anything you need to do, dear?"
Anything else? And then will you text with Krystal to confirm? Like
See?
he always
You did.
reminds me.
She texts me.
It's
yeah.
it keeps. I mean, I come from a family. They're entertainers, so like every day was just. I was never struck like you. I truly admire that you guys. I've never learned that. I've never had a good model of that either in my life. I was always like, I went from being at home with my family to marrying my husband, right out of college to teaching to having a million children, and now that's all. My life is literally. I'm with them, and sometimes I do have this urge to want to go back to school and I really would like to be a lactation specialist. I just love it. And so I think that's my goal for next year is to go back to school for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up everything was very just like
It was an unconventional lifestyle.
Yes.
Like parents were
Yeah.
entertainers. They'd go to bed at 3:00 in the morning, wake up
Sure.
at 10.
yeah. And we were on the road all the time. There was no structure in our day at all. It was like, you go to school, you go to dance, you do this, that. And then if my dad was there, great. If not, there was no structure. My dad was very much a late riser. It was just, my mom did a lot. We lived with my grandparents. It was nuts. So Mackins always been very structured like that and driven. So I think and because we met so young, I was 19, and
Yeah.
just like you guys
Yeah.
have been together.
Yeah, a long time.
17 years now? 8?
Yeah.
We did 16 last
16.
night. Yeah, we actually just
Last
quoted
night?
it last night.
Yeah.
No, no, we didn't
no,
celebrate
no,
it. We
no.
were just
Just
like, how
talked
long have we
about
been
it last
together?
night.
Oh, okay. I was
So
like,
that one's
oh,
fresh.
Calculated.
it would just went from being a kid to a kid in a relationship kind of. And so I never, besides teaching and having that responsibility, I just never had to be an adult. And it's really hard for me. It's something that we talk about a lot in therapy, like differentiating myself. And like he moved out of his house when he was 18, lived on his own. Yeah.
Yep,
he
that's
just,
him.
and very self-sufficient, knew how to do laundry. I didn't know how to do laundry. My mom always did my laundry. I was like literally
Until
child.
you were 23 and we moved in, she was doing your laundry.
I'm not joking. And then I'd bring it over.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was, I was very, I wouldn't say spoiled, but very, my mom just was very controlling. So
Dependent.
yeah, okay, whatever.
Not with a negative connotation, but you were.
I am.
Yeah,
I still am.
Yeah,
I'm getting better.
She created that whole lifestyle. Though it's not necessarily your fault as a kid either.
Yeah. So
No.
when I get to do stuff like this and like have this other purpose besides like the house and kids, it gives me, it feels good. So
Yeah,
like when I have my role,
absolutely.
you know, and but you actually like work alongside Josh. Like you have.
Yeah, I've been working less and less, but I do. I do actually have to.
Did you
work.
see what she did there? You gave her a compliment and she dismissed it.
Different, yeah.
So
She is-
you should almost don't edit this out either.
No.
You should almost tee that question up again now that Krystal's been called out because
my
she does work and
God.
she
She
works
does?
hard
Okay.
as fuck.
Yeah.
I do.
And
I
you're
do work.
very humble. I mean, I know you don't. You do a lot. Like you guys have 4 kids like us, so
Yeah.
I don't know how you do both. Like your brain is as a mom,
It's
you
going
really have to
crazy.
switch it on and off because then you're dealing with arguments and bullshit at home between the kids, which is great. But when you're so mentally at work too, it's exhausting. I'm sure.
Oh, it's very exhausting. I mean, I figure it out, but
Yeah.
it is very exhausting.
I think a big part of that though is that we blend all of it. You know, people think it's
Has to be
it's
separate.
blocked out
Okay.
times where it's
Right.
like at 9 I start work and at 5 I get off and then I go and switch gears into dad mode. It's like we don't play that game at all. Like
No.
the world starts in our house around 6:30, 7, whatever time you want to call it, and then I start working the second I get up. But then I go into the kids' room. Hey, I tell them goodbye. I love you. Give them a little physical affection, and then I go to the gym. And then I'm working. You are stepping in as mom. You probably start tapping into your phone about 9:15 after drop off.
I texted you this morning and then I put my phone down. I don't even like pay attention to my
that's
phone
good.
until after.
Well, there's no
drop-off.
reason to because
Right.
the kids are at school. But then once they get out of school, you're first to go pick them up. Then you bring them to the office. Then she's working,
Yep.
and then the kid walks in and goes, "I want a fucking bag of Doritos."
Yeah.
Okay, here's a bag. Back to working. And so the point is that if you just blend it all, I'm not a big believer in blocking it all out or.
You don't like it. You don't like it being called balance because it's,
Yeah, because balance is restricting, in my opinion. It's like, nope, dad's working right now.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. It's like, no, what's up, buddy? Or there's moments, of course, where I'm like, no, dad's on the phone, or I'm,
Of course.
Right,
but
right,
like,
right.
what's up? Yeah, okay. And now I'm in dad mode, and then I'm back into work mode, and so that served our relationship really
I
well.
completely agree, and I forget where I heard this recently, but it's more less balance and more of like a rhythm. Like you're in
Yeah.
and
There
out
you
of
go.
certain things.
I like that.
I take zero credit for it. I just don't remember where I got it from. But like when you're at work, sometimes you're thinking about your kids, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
if you're at a soccer game and somebody's calling about a property, you'll take the call.
Absolutely.
Right.
So like it's a rhythm. You go in and out of it. You can't always be 100% in and out of one thing or
The
other.
best thing about our gig, and is that, and I say this to all entrepreneurs and or realtors, specifically realtors because I'm around them a lot, but entrepreneurs as well, is that we don't get to work when we want. We just get to work where we want.
Right.
So you may get that phone call at 7 a.m. You've
Yeah.
got to take it, but you're in your bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or,
Right.
you know, the most prominent moment I had with that was we were out on, when we had a boat before all the kids. The boat was full, 9 people, you know, max boat day. And we're wakeboarding and messing around and boozing and playing and having fun and being responsible. And phone calls. And I was like, everybody, we got to stop. And everybody respected it. And I watched all my friends like tone it down because they're on my boat, they're on my dollar, which is fine. But they understood the dynamic. In order for us to enjoy this great experience with Josh has to take care of this moment of business. And they were really respectful of it. And this is why it was such a prominent moment because I was so observant of it all. And I took the call. We're negotiating out a deal on some fucking house in Sun City. And I hung up. And everybody, music turned back up. Fucking
my God.
Yeah,
jumped
right
back
into
in the
it.
water.
That's
Next
amazing.
wakeboarding. And I was like, wow, what a blessing. I get to work where I want on a boat in the middle of the lake with all my friends wakeboarding, but not necessarily when I want.
Yeah.
So
That is amazing.
Yeah, I agree because a lot of what I do is like managing the Airbnbs or like
Sure.
a rental property. So like I was picking the kids up from school yesterday, but I was dealing with a tenant that thought she deserved her security deposit back after destroying the carpet and being evicted and all these other
and
things.
the eviction fees exceeded the security deposit
Oh my God.
alone. The hard
mess.
cost of the eviction fees.
Yeah, so I didn't have to I didn't have to make somebody else pick my kids up. I was still able to pick them up.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me 5 minutes so I can talk to this lady and be done.
Yeah.
And you know,
You guys are so that like when you, again, we were talking before we started the podcast, but I always, my dad has this gift. It's like, I call it like his Jedi mind gift, because he goes into everything knowing he's going to get what he wants at the end of it. I'm not joking. He could sell dog shit to somebody. That's how good he is. He will get on the phone with somebody by the end of the day or whatever the phone call, he will end up with what he wants. And it's not in a rude or dismissive or arrogant way.
It doesn't have to be.
And no, and it's always love. It always comes from a place of perspective. This is, hey, you know, I've been with your company for 30 years. I love your company. All my kids have your shit, whatever it is. He doesn't swear, but whatever. And he starts very soft and gentle, but it's this mindset of like, I'm going to get done what I need to get done. And if I don't, I'm going to make a way to get it done. And, when you were talking about Krystal had just had is that okay to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Krystal just had an issue where she had an infection. I mean, I don't know if you want to speak to it. Okay, she had an infection and you need to get shit done.
Yeah.
And when you were telling us the story of how you got it done, it just reminded me so much of just your mentality in life, how you're like, I'm not going to be a dick and like say, this is what you're going to do this for my wife. This needs to get done. You were very much like, hey, this is what's going on. This is where we're coming from. This is what's happening. And I need your help in a way. And you got it done. She needed a pick line for her. And
For my, yeah.
And it was a roller coaster of events for you all weekend.
Yep.
Poor thing.
Yeah. It's we were just talking about it again last night. I generally get I've gotten every single thing I've ever wanted in my life. And when I don't get it, generally speaking, Chris and I look back and go, man, good thing I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And it's exactly to your point. I've found that, and I learned this in Mexico, this school I went to that taught me a lot of stuff.
Oh, you have to talk about that. We have to go. You have to.
So I learned it in that school, and then I can tap on that after. But most humans are compassionate and naturally come from a space of wanting to serve.
Sure.
And so if you always scrub humans' intentions with that locked in expectation that they do want to be compassionate, it's just how do you pull it out of them? And so it's, to your point, just creating perspective so that people want to give based on the perspective. If you create a demand and just go, I want this, now it's a defensive space. Well, why? You didn't give them their why. If you explain to them what their why is going to be, now they feel like they can obtain fulfillment by giving you that because they now have a why and they can be of service to other human beings, which is how we're fucking sitting here after being on this planet for tens of thousands of millions of years. And it's just built into us. It's just how do you pull it out of people? Yeah. And so it's to your point. I've never gotten anything that I wanted with force, ever. It's always been with a pure understanding of why I want it. And then the other person's like, oh, okay, of course. I see why you want it. And then I give it to you. What I will say is that when I have to tap into that space, like really intentionally, and where the outcome is a major necessity, I will, with all the fucking humility in the world for any of the idiots out there that don't have a brain that won't interpret this with a level of intelligence, it feels like a superpower of mine.
Yeah.
But it is an exhausting space to have to tap into, because the amount of energy that I have to use in my brain, because every word that I'm thinking about and everything that I'm analyzing and everything that's going on in my mind is analyzing the body language, sensing the energy in the room, and then picking my words really intelligently, and then predicting this scenario and this scenario and this scenario and this scenario in case that scenario happens, and how am I going to respond to each one so that I'm ready to respond to it. Like, it's this really intense. Like when I was done with this PIC line, which we got in 4 hours and the hospital couldn't do in 3 days.
Amazing.
I think I was emotional. I think I was in tears. I think it genuinely, it was from a space of like pure exhaustion.
Completely.
And I should have been running around going, I did it.
Right.
And I wasn't. I was like,
yeah.
And she kept going, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, honey, I don't know what's wrong. I think I'm just absolutely fried. Because and when I got it, it was such an emotional experience. I was like, oh, thank God it worked.
Yes.
You know, because that energy and adrenaline was what was keeping me intense. So that but on the outside, it looked like I was calm, cool, and collected and had it all together.
Yeah.
But
And it takes extra stressors to keep your body in that state.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to put you because if you let your emotions get the best of you, then fuck it, it all goes out
it
the
all
window.
goes out the door. You
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, we were in the hospital, and I was determined to have Krystal's surgeon speak with the infectious disease doctor at the same time, so that they could, because I knew what he was recommending and what she was recommending. If they were having an independent conversation without us in the mix, one of them would cave.
Right.
Right.
Again, see, thinking really far ahead and having
Sure.
to be like, okay, what's going to happen if they both get on the phone? Is who's more dominant? Who's going to
Yep,
care
yep,
more
yep.
to get their point across? And then whatever that is, I can't risk that. And so this doctor wasn't in the room. Infectious disease doctor wasn't in the room.
Yep.
And so I asked our surgeon, who's doing all of this for free as a kind, incredible man, Dr. Reynolds, incredible, the best surgeon in the
yeah.
city by miles. And I want to give him his credit. That's why I made that plug. But I'm like, will you wait for the infectious disease doctor? Because you got to be candid with what you want. And he goes, oh, I can't, man. I can't.
got surgery. I can't
And
wait.
what did I do? I didn't go, okay. I was like, start asking him fucking questions and don't stop. So I teed him up for a real long-winded answer with a question, and I bolted out the room, didn't say, excuse me, guys, I just left, and I fucking circled this whole hospital floor, which is a big-ass floor, and I asked every fucking nurse, I need this doctor. I need this.
Yeah.
Send this doctor to our room now.
Yeah.
Then I ran back, sat back down, and kept asking them questions. And sure enough,
She
they went and
walked
found
in.
that doctor, and I was able to stall Dr.
Wow.
Reynolds long enough to get them to come in. And then on top of that, I facilitated a whole conversation between the two to make them both feel comfortable so that they weren't feeling like they're stepping on each other's toes.
Amazing.
Because if I just sit back and watch that, then they could end up getting into an ego battle, of
Yeah.
which
Right.
is of no good.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, with all due respect and thank you, and I appreciate this, and I'm so grateful that you're having this. I could go on and on
Yeah.
about that gift, but your
Bro,
dad
that is
is
a superpower. Like, don't downplay that. Like, most people are just passive. Like, okay, I guess I gotta wait till fucking next Thursday to get
Yeah,
the surgery.
But it
Well,
was
thank you for
also
saying
your
that.
wife. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
there-
yeah, the
this-
stakes are through the roof.
This is, I mean, that adrenaline, that urgency. This was because Krystal, you
Yeah.
couldn't watch her.
And I'm
wait.
sitting there on morphine because I'm in so
know.
much
Oh.
pain.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
but that was
you-
like the most intelligent conversation I've ever witnessed in my life.
amazing, amazing. Though, because you're right, egos get in the way, things like that. It is a gift. It's
I've never found the ego. The ego is an incredible tool that I have found to use when I am personally feeling down or challenged to a point that I don't believe I'll win. That's when I tap into ego. And all that ego is doing is hitting my psyche with a nitrous boost. You can fucking do this, Josh. Let's fucking go. That's ego.
though there's no
But I've
negative
n-
self-talk in your head.
No, I actually am pretty conscious of that.
That's
like,
amazing.
no,
I
so
know.
that's when I
I'm
tap
not
into
great with
ego.
that.
Neither am
But
I.
most people tap into ego on the external. You know, walk around. I'm the ego, and
Right.
and to me, I've never seen that serve anybody, and
Sure.
it didn't serve me when I was using it as a young child. What I always say is it was such a blessing. Is anytime that I walked around like I was the shit. Again, years 18 to 23. I'm 40. The universe would literally put my head on the curb and kick the back of my head, and my teeth would blow out of my head. And one day, I'm driving out of my neighborhood. I think I'd made like $15,000 commission check, and I had the windows down, the music up, and I'm like, I live in this beautiful area, and I made all this money. And I'll never forget the moment. This was a sincere moment that I remember, and I said, you know what? Put all that shit away. And that was the last time that I excessively celebrated a win.
Wow.
I was like, I'm just gonna keep jamming. Act like you've won before.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that's how I live my life. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, you just seem so driven. When are you going to stop? I can't believe you don't take Fridays off. I can't believe
What?
that you come in so early. I'm like,
Wow.
dude, imagine if when I made 80,000, I patted myself on the back and started taking Fridays off.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have never made more
would've
than
made it.
80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine when I made $500,000. If I was like, I'm taking Fridays off, I'm rich. I would have never made more than 500,000. Imagine every journey, every milestone after that. If every time I patted myself on the back and started giving myself relief, I would never be where I'm at.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I'm gonna fucking grind until I hit my goals, which my goals are much higher than taking a Friday off.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like no, a Friday, dog, like a 3-day weekend. That's what you're gonna live your whole life
Do you
for.
guys sit together and
Sorry,
talk
I got
about...
real long-winded
No,
there.
no,
No,
you're
no.
fine. Do you guys talk about goals together? Is this something you push? This is something you do you do on your own, or is there something like, do you guys do that together?
I think we talk about it. Yeah. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like, okay, what's our plan?
Yeah.
It's not like a discussion. It's like he has his goals and I have my goals. My goals are more like for our family.
Yeah.
His goals are more like business and sustaining, really.
Mm-hmm. I think where our balance is so beautiful is that and I'm going to use extremes here to create the point. If we lived through Krystal's life or through Krystal's role in our marriage, we would probably not be as financially set. We would have an incredibly fun life and probably be broke most of the time. And that's fine.
okay.
And now if we lived through my life, we would sacrifice all luxuries
no
of
fun.
life. It would be no fun. It would be a very raw, we starve until we hit
Bare
our goal.
bones, yeah.
Yeah.
Like frugal, cheap, and disciplined and regimented and da-da-da-da. And so what I love about our dynamic is that Krystal's bringing all this incredible joy into my daily life that I don't have to navigate or set up or create or any of that. Like on Fridays, I roll up and I see my friends. Like you and I didn't talk once, and I'm obtaining extreme fulfillment by being able to interact with you two.
Sure.
Krystal made this happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get to focus on the long-term game while she's filling in the short-term game.
Yeah.
And between the two of it, we get to live a really beautiful life.
That's amazing.
That's why this girl's my fucking life partner.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
We were talking about that on the way here. I was just saying how incredible the two of you kind of dance through life together. The way like you make it work, but you also make it fun, and you make it, and you guys do, and you're very generous, and you love to do shit with your friends.
Yeah.
You do. It's
Oh, yeah.
great. You guys bring your friends along everywhere, and it's so beautiful that you're so generous and gracious like that. I'm sure your friends love and appreciate that about you guys, and they love you because I feel like most of your friends you've had since you guys met,
Yeah.
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 right? Most
Yeah.
of your
Since
close
high
friends.
school,
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a great friend circle. It is because we're a more the merrier couple.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you guys may know now, you've probably been exposed to a lot of our friends, but there's a moment when you just knew us.
Yeah.
And then we'll be the first to invite you guys over to a party where we have, let's call it between 40 and 100 people. We can
Yeah,
easily
you guys
pull one of
do.
those off.
Yeah.
You guys literally, that is your party, 40,
And then,
100 people.
and where I think we strive best with making new friends is bringing people in to our life that don't need to be babysat. For
Right.
example, if I invited you two over, it'd be, hey, what's up? You and I
Right.
may talk shop for 20 minutes and I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I look over and I see you hanging out with my other two
Right.
buddies at the
Right.
bar. Or you're at the bar
Sure.
with the buddies, you're out in the backyard with the girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is you build relationships with
Yep.
them.
Yes.
Like if you look at our friend group, I could go, it started with this guy to this guy
Yeah.
to this
Yeah,
family
yeah.
to this
Yeah.
family. And now we have this beautiful friend group that nobody needs to be babysat.
Yep.
Like that kind of is maybe a deterrent for us. If someone comes over and they just need to be like
Handheld.
yeah,
kinda
which is
suck the
fine.
energy,
That's I get
yeah.
that, but that's not necessarily our dynamic.
Yeah, that's not
like,
your vibe. Yeah,
no,
for
I
sure.
want you out fucking playing darts with Antho and
Right.
Yeah.
and Casey and
Yeah.
on your own,
Right.
holding your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, we have a beautiful friend group, and I'm so grateful for every one of them.
And you guys have 4 kids. Like, that's an
That's an
a-
easy way to make friends.
That's true. There's no shortage of other kids and parents around at any point in time.
I mean, that's how we became friends.
Yes,
Is
that is
Beckham-
true.
I was telling her that story. It was such
Yeah.
a cute thing. Your oldest Beckham came home with our oldest Dom one day.
Yeah.
They were in the same class, I think, and he came home with a little old school handwritten note, and it said, I think something, I'm bullshitting here, but like, my name is Beckham. Here's my parents' phone numbers. Can you please text them and set up a play date?
Yeah.
That was
And I was like,
so
this is
cute.
the cutest thing I've ever seen.
You gotta frame that. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a good one.
And he had given Dom one of his watches, and Dom was like, "Look at this watch Beckham gave me." And that's how. And then I randomly did I text you? I think I texted you. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hi, I'm Dom's mom.
Yeah.
The boys want to play."
Yeah.
And it that's how it started.
Yeah, we went to Flippin' Out Extreme.
We did, and that was the first. Yeah, that's right. We sat next to each other and we spoke, and then. And it was easy. It was, and the boys got along great.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Your kids are soccer kids, and you guys, you're balls to the wall with
Oh,
soccer.
yeah.
We had 12 games last weekend.
Yeah, you guys are
In that
committed.
weather.
Oh, yeah.
You're committed. You're
Yeah.
done now. Like that's
go.
your life.
I like it though.
I know. No, that's great.
I love it.
And you probably have a lot of your friends, their kids play soccer too. So it's probably like,
Yeah, we just make friends there.
Yeah, we have it's a whole social scene.
That's
it's
amazing.
It's like waking up and knowing you're gonna hang out with 25 to 30 different adults that
that's
day.
amazing.
Yeah.
Which I think you guys do right because we do a bunch of different sports.
We're idiots.
And yeah, we're stupid. I think
We got lucky.
I don't know.
Our
I don't know if
kids
that's
gravitated to soccer organically.
Right.
And I am blessed
That's
that all of them
amazing.
are in one.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think,
Is there
like-
any sort of like intentionality behind that? Like, hey, maybe you want to go play soccer too?
honestly,
Yeah.
well,
So
like
it
then you
started.
answer it in
Well,
your
it
way.
started like Beckham and Kennedy were like doing intense soccer, and then Kinsley and Jagger are just sitting next to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And they want my phone and they want to watch, and I'm like looking at the fields. I'm like, there's your age group. There's your age
Yeah.
group. I'm
Yep.
like, you should just be doing it too.
Yeah.
But so they like it. I do think that Jagger might be not for soccer. He might. I mean, he's okay. But
Yeah.
I could see him doing like hockey or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we may not have that perfect scenario where all of them go to one
Well,
field.
right
Hold
now-
on to it as long as you can. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
But
have,
what you were saying,
Because
Yeah.
we have the opposite where one's in football, hockey, basketball, soccer, dance, and
Oh
all
my
we're doing
God.
is
Oh, yeah.
fucking driving around.
You're
Which
chauffeurs,
is, there's
yeah.
pros to it because we know we're the free spirited parents. Sure, go play dance, go do whatever. We can
Go
play
play
whatever you
dance.
want. Yeah, sorry, exactly. But like,
don't say that.
and I think there's value in having variety and get exposed to what you're good at.
Sure.
But also, like, as parents of 4 kids, it's just fucking easy. Just stick to one thing. You know you're going to be at the fields all day Saturday, and that's your shit. Versus,
Yeah.
like, trying to bounce around all town, figure out rides, you know?
The thing that sucks though is realizing what they're good at and then leaning into that. And it's like we're real. Like Dean is one of the twins. He oddly is an athlete.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what an athlete is, but he looks like one
he's
to me.
good.
He does.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dom is good. Leo's just kind of like a bull in a china shop wherever he goes.
Yeah.
And Vivian's just kind of like, I don't even know what we're gonna do with that girl. She's
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I mean, maybe Beckham, but they're not going to be professional.
Yeah.
So it's like
I know.
I just think like the team sport is good for them.
Yep.
And it's selfish, honestly, because it's like I don't want to miss any games. So
Yeah.
if they're all in soccer, we're all on the field the whole day. Like I'm not going to really miss.
no,
anything,
that's not
you know?
selfish. That's great. I think it's wonderful that you guys have those Saturdays together too as a family.
Yeah,
That's what I
like we
think
just
is
live
our-
on the field.
Yeah.
our real value is that on Saturday morning, our Galindo family is
Yep.
a solid unit until Sunday night.
Do you guys
Yeah.
roll up with like? Do you guys have like a whole setup?
Sprinter
I
van.
look at he's smiling. Are you planning it like the studio? Are you gonna roll up with like a?
No, I just do. I do unconventional shit in my life.
Yeah.
Period. And the reality is, to me, it's not unconventional. It's what makes my life even easier. It's just different than what everybody else does. So
I
like,
can't
I roll up with like this gigantic scooter that goes 50 miles an hour. And all these other parents are fucking walking,
Yep.
7 or 8 fields down the way,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
That's
transporting
Yeah.
my
Funny.
kids. I pull the wagon with it. Like I don't fuck around with any of that shit. I'm like, what's the most logical, easy way to do
I
this
love
this
it.
task? And then we have the van. So if the kids are too cold or too hot, I'll zip them back to the van, come back to the game. I missed 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then instead of I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Zip to the bathroom, zip
Yeah.
back. It's 10 seconds instead of 8 minutes or
So
15
smart.
minutes. So we roll that way really strong. Our setup is it's focused around the scooter and the van,
I
and
love
they're
that.
probably a little excessive, and
That's good
But-
though. I love it.
But
I think
we
it's
we
great.
share that van
Do you
with
have the
everybody. The
G's?
kids on. Oh yeah, the van's.
No, on the scooter. Do you have one
Oh,
on the
no.
scooter?
I
Oh,
thought
I know
about
what I'm
stamping
gonna
the
get you a
scooter.
basket
Yeah,
for
you
the
need
front of your
to.
scooter with the G's on it. With the G's on it. A little like cooler or something that
That's funny.
attaches.
That would be funny.
No, it's good. All the kids, the brothers and sisters of the other kids on the team
Yeah,
are
they go
hanging
in the
out in the
van.
van and watching.
Yeah, especially for weekends with the bad weather, it's like I didn't want Jagger just sitting out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like he needs to be like, and there's a TV. And
Yep.
I don't know about you guys though, but ever since our son started, Dominic, our oldest, I don't know if Beckham, I feel like Dom's balls have dropped and he thinks he's like, can like be like, he's been talking back. He's been kind of like, he's been tough. I'm not going to lie, but he started flag football and his coach he's an FBI agent, so he doesn't fuck around.
He's like the typical old school hard ass coaches that you probably had growing
Oh,
up.
yeah. Yep.
Like swearing at
Yep.
him.
Love
Nope,
that.
you fucked
I
up,
see-
run.
Yep.
I
You
haven't
fucked
thought,
how
up,
I-
you all run.
Yeah.
And I
That's
haven't-
how I was coached.
Yeah, me too.
which I have no objection.
You were never exposed to any of that. You're
No,
like, oh, is this, like,
again.
she's on the
One of my
Brady
football
Bunch.
coaches, I thought, gave me whiplash one time. So I fucked up on a play, and he pushed me so hard in the back, and I wasn't
Oh my
expecting it,
gosh.
so my helmet shot back.
Yeah.
I even screeched. She was like,
Yeah, like this last weekend when it was
sorry to
terrible
interrupt.
weather, it was pouring rain, hail.
Yep.
And Dom's out. He didn't wear the clothes I told him to wear. He's wearing shorts and a long sleeve shirt.
Coach didn't give a
and
fuck.
you can't
Nope.
throw the ball. So what is it? He's had him fucking running the whole time, and kids were fucking up. And it was like if you didn't know what was going on, you'd be like, "Is these kids okay out there?" But like all the parents are kind of watching, kind of laughing, but also halfway concerned at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But and he was so like physically beat down after that. And he's had a lot of that like recently, but he's been a much more well-behaved kid.
We
Sure.
are like what?
That's a beautiful statement. I
Yeah.
think we just have to own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you just described, that tremendous amount of discipline is translating into other parts of their life.
And
where
he's
they're being-
conscious of it, like
Yeah.
because he's playing quarterback. He's like, I was supposed to go right, and I should have went left. Right, and I went left, and when I show and coach made him
Accountability.
run. And
Accountability.
He's like, now it clicked with him. Like there's consequences to not, doing what you're told to do.
100%.
I think that's the biggest struggle is like with Kennedy, like I'm going to say Kennedy's team mostly. It was Beckham's team, but like all these parents want to dictate how the coach is coaching them. And I'm like, you can't restrict how the coach is doing
No.
it. If you're going to do that, then you should coach them yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
The whole point of them to be in sports is to have somebody else hold them accountable,
Yep.
somebody else to show them what consequences are. And I'm all for it.
Were
Like,
you in sports?
Yeah, I played soccer.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
My dad was tough on me, but for soccer. But like Beckham's coach, like when he said, well, he's Irish, right? So he'll
Yep.
say like bullocks, which that's like a curse word, but
Yeah.
like, and he'll make them run. Or like Kennedy's, she came home one day from practice just in tears. She's like, my coach was mad. I wasn't paying attention. Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, that's what your coach is for. And I
Yeah.
texted coach. I was like, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
love
don't
that
want you to
did
be
that.
soft on
No.
her. Like
Yeah.
she needs to get it. And
Yeah.
the next practice, she was much better.
We always laugh because my sister is very much a gentle parent or like a positive parenting, right? And it's and
the no parent.
Yep.
fucking so Mackins has this whole
Deflect. What's the term? Deflect?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or
There's so many of them.
redirect.
Redirect.
Yeah, that's a big
Fucking
one.
get
We
the
have-
fuck
this is
outta
like,
here.
We talk about this all the time. Like like I'm done with all that bullshit now. We did it for some instances and some things I get like some make sense, but I'm like done with it. So like our new tagline is we're putting the negative back in positive parenting.
he's in his no era.
No, I'm done. The answer is no.
Yeah.
It's
no.
yeah, it's
No.
yeah.
And standing on it like nope.
Yep.
And speaking from experience, because Dominic was our first baby, so I was a brand new teacher. So everything I learned like this, I was trained in special education all the way up to second grade. So I learned a lot of like, a lot of hands-on way of dealing with children instead of like, talking about feelings. I was very feeling generated with him, and almost to a fucking fault where now we're just fucking explaining why for everything. And I'm like, why? Because I said so. Like that's
Right,
where we're
right,
at
right.
now. But I have noticed such a change in him since this shift in discipline and kids. I know I discipline's a very touchy subject now because everybody's very much
It's
you
not
know,
here.
Everybody's
yeah.
soft.
It's not right here.
No, I love you
No.
for
But
that.
I get
It's
it.
good. But we were raised in a generation where there was no why. It was because I said
Yeah.
so.
Ooh, I like
now
that.
there is a value to that. I used to be so upset with my mom that she was so not my friend, that she was so mean and did what she did. But I'll never forget that she said, like, you need a friend, you need a parent right now. Because I will be your friend one day, I'm gonna be your parent. I always like, she's so mean, blah, blah. But all these parents are friends now, and there's value in a blend of that tough love, and we're so far removed from it now. We've been told like the way we were raised is, we can't have feelings. We have all these mental health issues, which is very true. I'm not taking away from that, but there is value in discipline, and I'm watching it firsthand with our oldest son that we poured every ounce of what we were into that kid. He was talking before he was 1, full sentences. He was walking at 7 months old. Like this kid was a fucking anomaly, and he's beautiful. Like I will give Dom that, and I'm not
super
boasting.
handsome.
He
No,
is
no,
good for
beautiful,
you.
and
Good
he
looking
has
kid.
the world by the balls. But when you know you have the world by the balls, once you know you're fucking cool, you're not cool anymore, bro. Like you need to chill. So, and we were exhausting everything.
I think it's also good coming from someone else. So like I don't have to go out and make him run and because then he only hates me and I'm beating him up for X, Y, and Z at home.
Right.
But now there's somebody else, correcting his shit, and I think he appreciates our discipline even more so now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
So Viv's going to be
can
starting
teach
flag
him,
football next week. She's
So
a pain
everybody
in the
starts
ass.
tackle football next week.
For the whole family.
That coach only.
Exactly.
Just with him.
Yep.
It's cool though. It's amazing. But I do think a lot of the problem, I think our kids, our generation of, not our kids, but like kids,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of shit that they're not gonna be able to handle in life once they
They're
get
gonna
out
have no
there.
fucking clue. I love it. I love it because
love it?
my kids will fucking dominate
Yes.
Yeah.
every other pussy out there
Yes.
that doesn't know how to take the word no.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those guys will crumble, and Beckham will be like,
I
I'm
got
still
it.
here,
Beckham will be the
motherfucker.
first person to get his wife that pick you line because
That's right. For real,
Because he
though.
watched
For
his
real,
dad
though.
grind.
Yeah. I love it. I
Yeah.
think their generation, if you raise your kid with that level of confidence and self-esteem and understanding of discipline and hard work, they're going to have it easier than we did.
How do you instill
Because
confidence in them? What do you guys do?
I force them to do things that are difficult. I force them to, we were all here for the Super Bowl. Dumb shit like this. We're all here for the Super Bowl. We use the big TVs downstairs. We're having a good time. End of the night, I'm like, who wants to go on the roof? The roof's beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
And it is. There's
Yeah.
a sick view, like of the whole city, unobstructed when you go up
Just
here.
the ladder
Oh,
to get up.
amazing.
Well, the
is
way to
pretty
get up to the
sketch.
roof is a fucking 14-foot straight metal ladder.
Oh my God.
And through a
Rusted.
hole that's this big, and then you got to jump out on top. And if you do fall off the ladder, it'd be a nasty fall, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so I send all my fucking kids up there, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is scary. This is scary." I'm like, "Go." And now I intentionally go. In my mind, I'm like, I will 100% catch them if
Of
something
course.
happens.
Right,
but I
right,
don't
right,
tell
right,
them
right.
that because then you're stripping them of it.
Sure.
Go. I want you to be scared the whole way up. And then they overcome that fear when they get to the top. Same thing when they came down. Oh, fuck, this is even worse.
Yeah, but then they did it.
Go. And then, of course, in my mind, I'm making sure. So in my mind, I'm always putting my kids in a place where they can be challenged, but I know I have control of the situation where they won't kill themselves. But I never tell them that. It's not like, oh, dad will protect you. Go. It's like, well, you kind of stripped them of that because now they're going because they think you're going to protect them. They should go because they know they can protect themselves. And so it's a lot of things like that. Like the weather this weekend, and I give you guys credit for allowing the coach to let the kids play out there. I'm usually the dad that's like, let them play in the rain. It's good for them. This rain was fucking different.
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
It
that
was-
was rain.
I was freezing.
Yeah.
So I was even buckling on my own, but I look out at Kinsley and, I got my back to the angled rain. She's playing defense, so she's got her face to the angled rain.
my God.
And she's just getting pelted. and I'm just looking at her like, and she's not even complaining.
they loved it.
She's not even
Yeah.
complaining,
That's amazing.
but that started somewhere. That started that first time I forced her to go up the ladder.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
she can be on a field getting her balls kicked in by this rain
Yep.
and take it like a champ.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that's probably my way. And I'm a real positive affirmation person. You could ask any one of my kids. You just say, Galindos don't do what? And they'll say quit. They'll finish it every time. The other thing is you can start with no, and they'll finish no brain. That's not fear. That's excitement.
Oh, wow.
So I instill like those little things into them, and then they witness us overcome a lot. And
I think
witness.
that the biggest one is the no brain. That's not fear. That's excitement, because they always like Kennedy. She gets real anxious, so she's like, I have a stomach ache, and I'm like, it's because you're excited.
Right.
You're thinking like, oh, this kind of hurts, so something's wrong, but nothing's wrong. You're just really excited. It's the same feeling. You just need to redirect your energy, for it.
And honestly, your kids, we have always talked about it. Like, because, you guys do very well in town. You guys are amazing. Like, your kids could literally, if they wanted whatever they wanted, they could have it. Let's just,
yeah.
They could.
Well,
Like,
I get
whatever
that. But
they
my
wanted,
is like, yeah, but fuck
No.
that. They're not getting
No,
shit.
they're not.
Right.
But they could. You guys could. These could be kids that could have literally whatever they want. Your kids. I think that's why I was so drawn to you guys personally, myself, because and him too. They are so fucking sweet and kind. There is never a
you.
moment that I run into one of your children and they don't say hello,
That's
give
right.
me a hug.
That's
like,
right.
how are like
They'll
it's
seek
not
us out sometimes. Like you won't see them, and they'll come up behind you and give you like a hug.
It's
And that's
it's
Krystal.
beautiful.
I was gonna
That's
say, I'm
Krystal.
gonna take
See,
credit for
that's
that.
the yin
That
and
was
yang
me.
of our relationship. Like she doesn't believe in the kid. Like I'm kind of like a dummy man, but like if some random kid walks into my house and shoots, I'm on the couch and he starts at the front door and shoots out the back door, I stop him like, bro, come here. And he's like, you know, I'm like, you just walked into my house. Say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where you think you are, dog.
yeah.
But you just walked into my home. You need to say hi.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's me like being, grumpy
But
dad.
that's respectful.
But Krystal has taught the kids to do that naturally.
Sure.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I would have
I've never-
forgot to teach them that. I just, that's definitely her space. She's done a
they
great
were
job
never the
creating
kids that were
manners.
like, where you're like, oh, say hi, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like, oh, it's just that. I'm like, no, fucking say hi.
Well,
Like,
I know. I love that.
I don't play
and
like
if
that.
they don't,
yeah,
it's not like Crystal's like, oh,
No,
he's,
no.
he's
I
shy.
stand there until-
She holds her ground. Say hi.
Yeah.
yeah.
Say hi. I've seen her where if one of the kids does not respond in that space, then that kid gets pulled off to the side.
Yeah.
And that kid comes back and says hi. So
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever Krystal said to her or him was like, get your fucking ass over there
Yeah.
and say hi.
Yeah.
But it's not he's just we hear it all the
is my
time.
dad.
Say hi. And
Sure,
the kid doesn't
sure.
say
So good,
hi. And the
though.
parent repeats it. Say hi.
And they hug the
And then the
leg.
kid doesn't say hi. And the parent's like, sorry, he's just shy. Well, you just empowered your kid to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When not the other parents are around, but I remember one time like Kinsley was really excited. I was dropping her off at preschool and she was like saying hi to someone, and the girl just ignored her. And I go, "Excuse me." She
Right.
said hello to you.
Yes.
And
You're
we'll
not
hold
going to
the-
dismiss my kid and make
Yeah.
her feel like shit when she was trying to say hi, because
Yeah.
that's going to make her not go say hi to anybody else.
Yes.
And I was like, "You say hi to her."
Yes.
Like,
And I'm sure
no, no.
Kinsley appreciated
Yeah.
you, Mama Bear, seeing her got
Yeah.
her back too.
Yeah,
like,
and I
no,
think it's a
no.
good visual for Kinsley. I mean, we could break this down into so many ways.
Yeah.
For her to show that the people around her, whether strangers or friends, you are going to respect me
Yes.
and say hello back. Did you
Right.
hear
Yeah.
me? I said hi.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like Kinsley, if you would have said nothing, Kinsley can interpret that moment however she wants, but you framed it into no, you
I
are
do.
going to hold a standard for yourself
Yeah.
and you're going to expect people to be kind back to you.
I do that with my nieces too. Like, I mean, one of them's like 3, but I'm like, no, she said hi to you. You need to say hi.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't say hi back to me. You need to say hi back to her because it's not going to affect my kid's confidence.
Were you
know?
raised that way, Krystal? Is that how your family was, or was it more something you just observed and wanted for your children? Maybe Josh
I
brought
don't
it out in
know.
you.
I mean, maybe I was raised that way. I'm not
I'm
really
surprised
sure.
to hear he and Ha about that. If you were to ask me that question, if Krystal was raised that way, I would have actually said yes.
Yeah. I just don't ever remember
Like
my
your mom was
being
real
like,
formal.
Yeah. Oh, super formal. Yeah.
Like you are kind. You
Yeah.
walk in, you say hi, you
Yeah.
fold your
So maybe I
arms.
was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's that, and then it's also like when I see it happen with other kids, and then the parents let it go. I'm like,
No.
it just rubs me wrong. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's not going to be me and my kid.
Yeah.
yeah.
My family too. We were entertainers. My dad. I that's why I'm really bad at remembering people's names. I would meet people all the time, and I would have to hug, shake hands,
Yeah.
show them the dance you just learned, Danielle. Like, do a trick, right? It's like a dog. It's like a fucking puppy. Show them the dance you're doing. Show them what, like, everything was always a show. And I used to think that, like, I don't know. I look at a lot of the things that younger me I was ashamed of, but I find a lot of strength in the things that I thought made me weak now. Like, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift to make your kids be respectful and acknowledge it. Some people don't even know that that's not respectful. What are they going to do when they go for a fucking job interview? Sorry,
Right.
he's shy. He doesn't want to say hi. He doesn't like that chair. It's not soft enough. He likes silk. Okay, we need to put him in a silk chair. Like, we're setting them up for just life. That's a life skill. You say hello. You assert yourself when you walk into somebody's home. You say hello when you leave. Thank you for having me.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like I feel like you can't let that die, and like it has to be
Yeah. I mean, you can only control what you can control in your own space.
exactly,
Right.
but it starts there.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about the fucking kidnapping story.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
This
Mexico.
blew my mind. I don't think enough people know this.
All right, let's see. So,
So Krystal
where
locked
we
you
at,
in your
Tom?
room.
I know, right?
She handcuffed
Blindfolded
you.
him.
Krystal locked you in your room. Handcuffed you to the bed.
Yep.
What time is it? Yeah.
We're at 55, but you guys are good. I just don't know how long you guys
Yeah.
typically go.
Just what time is it?
Oh, 10:51.
Oh, we're
Yeah, we're
okay.
good.
We're good.
and we have we had 11,
We have an 11:15.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We need to go to pick up the boys, so
Okay.
we'll listen. To this,
11:15
we'll
is
do the
perfect for us
story.
too.
We'll have some. Okay, so man, how do I make it as juicy and good as possible? I'll just go through it. So, Long story short, I was
A really bad kid.
okay. So I was raised without my dad.
When you made that 15,000, where were you?
Oh, that's way after.
After.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
adult.
I was
yeah.
wondering. Okay.
Yeah, Mexico was from 16
Okay.
to 17 and a half.
Okay, got it.
So
Years old.
You got to years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to create some perspective. So no dad in the picture. Raised by my mom, who did an unbelievable job considering her circumstances as a dual parenting household. I can't imagine how she pulled off her ambition and was still a parent. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know how she did it, but she did. So no dad in the picture. It was all good when I was young. I didn't understand the difference. I always felt like there was something lightly different with me, but I don't know if I'd internalized it negatively at that moment. As I got older, I started seeing dads dropping kids off, dads roughhousing with the kid, dad's buddy would come to school and say my dad was showing me how to shave, or like trying to shave our faces to grow beards, when we didn't even have, we only had peach
Shaving
fuzz,
skin to get hair.
Right, exactly. My dad showed me this. And so I started to kind of create some comparison. And then, I started to realize that something was different. But deep down, there was probably this worthy issue from not feeling worthy of love from my dad to a point where he left. So obviously that creates a big black hole. So I had issues. I always had self-esteem. I always had confidence because I would challenge myself. Challenge creates confidence, and self-esteem because my mom was always in my ear telling me how beautiful I was and she loved me, and so she was a good mom.
Yeah.
But I still had this gaping hole of insecurity and other issues that we could, there's many issues out there, and I certainly had my batch. So at like 15, 16, I started. I blow my eye out in 6th grade with a bullet, basically, on accident. This little metal cap that I found on a construction site that goes inside the nail guns that when you hear it go, poosh.
Yes.
Yeah, so that I picked up, popped it out, took it home, hit it with a hammer, exploded off the ground, obviously, shot through my eyelid into my eyeball.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in 6th grade. And so that really triggered the trajectory of pulling out all of, I may have been able to work my way through life with those issues, but this brought them all to the surface because I had 4 eye surgeries. I was out of school. I was behind on everything. I was wildly insecure. You use your eyeballs to talk and communicate with people, and it's like one of the most effective things on my body. And I'm 12.
And you said because you couldn't really see, your depth perception was off, so you weren't as good at basketball anymore.
Oh yeah, all my sports and shit got sideways.
That makes
I
sense.
couldn't shoot. All of a sudden, I was a great defender when before I was a great, on offense and everything. I couldn't play baseball. I couldn't, there's a lot of things that at 12 years old, and then going through puberty and then having too much time on my hands. So I started to get myself into trouble, and the trouble escalated, between like 14 and 16, and I was running away and all this other stuff. So I had to give some perspective. I didn't just go to Mexico. Yep. My mom knew that, and it was a legitimate thing. If you go down to my childhood, of the 7 people I hung out with, like 3 are dead, 4 are not doing very well, and 1 might have like a regular job.
Wow.
And unless they hung out with me in their adult life, then they turned out fine. But so I was running away. So she said he's either going to kill himself or he's going to die.
Yeah.
Or he's going to die, kill himself, or go to jail. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, I went to jail. And as soon as I got out, I was even bigger. I was even a bigger mess because now I was ashamed of my behavior. And I end up doing even more crazy, stupid shit. So I run away for like 10 days after like the 5th time running away. But this is the longest span of runaway that I'd
Could you
been.
imagine?
No.
And I don't even,
I could not
couldn't
imagine like Beckham being gone for 10 days. I have no idea where he's
Yeah,
at.
no clue.
I don't know.
No clue. The
Dead.
torture
No
to
cell
a parent.
phones.
No
No
cell phones.
tracking. No nothing.
No.
Nope.
Yeah,
Holy
even just
shit.
looking back, it's
Your
like,
poor
man.
mother.
Yeah.
I know.
So there was even a time, you want to talk about like either maybe consciously inflicting the pain on myself to just reconfirm my belief system, is I snuck back into the house, into the backyard of the house, just to be close to the family, but I didn't want to go back inside, so I was watching them through the back window.
And it was Christmas, wasn't it?
And it was Christmas.
Oh,
It's just like a
shit.
fucking
It was
movie.
Christmas
I think we
timing.
need to.
It was
Okay.
December. It
I think
wasn't like
Galindo
like a
Media
movie.
needs to now enter into film. Maybe we could do that'd be a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christmas, the opening scene.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so
Sorry.
okay, the dam broke. Mom's like, I got to do something, and so she hires transporters to kidnap me out of my bed at 3 a.m, and that is a legitimate story. So I'm asleep in bed. Actually, I come home from running away. I see my mom at the door. Mm-hmm. My mom's like very lovey. My mom should be beating the shit out of me,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like thrown off by it. She's hugging the shit out of me. I'm crying. Thank you. I'm back. So glad you're back home. I go upstairs like a piece of shit teen, kind of dismiss her, go in my room, call my girlfriend, turn on music, whatever I was doing. Mm-hmm. She comes in again and gives me a huge hug. And I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is so unorthodox. In that moment, you don't know what you're about to experience. Right. But once I was in Mexico with an unlimited amount of self-reflection, I analyzed every second building up to this moment. And so I go to bed. I wake up to 2 guys holding my arms like this.
Holy shit.
And at first, I think I'm being kidnapped. But you guys got to remember, too, it's just like any one of our kids. If you and I went into Beckham's room and grabbed his arms, it takes them time to come out of sleep.
Sure.
You know, if 2 guys grabbed your arms now or mine now, it'd be a whole nother story.
Right.
But when you're a teenager and you're sleeping deeper and harder, because some people don't understand that that's true. I ended up transporting people, and that's how we did it.
Right.
You just get it. They're so in a daze that you're like, come on, you're leaving. You're going to this school. And you never tell them the length of the time. And so nobody told me the length of the time. They said you'd be there for 2 weeks to a month. And I was like, you know what? This is probably good for me. I could get out of town right now and get a little reset.
Wow.
So they put me in 2 knee braces so that I can't run. Mm-hmm. And because there's a checklist of which I've read each checklist. Is a kid violent? Is he aggressive? Is he, you know, they ask all these questions so we know what we're going into. Mm-hmm. Is he fast? Can he run? Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm sure my mom checked that about 5 times.
Yeah.
So you accommodate that by having knee braces on or whatever you do to overcome that. These guys chose knee braces. I never implemented them as a transporter. And so I waddle.
You say transporter, but what you mean is
I became a transporter.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually went back after. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Sorry.
So I get kidnapped out of bed. I go to Mexico, they throw me in the back of this car. They drive me to McCarran Airport. I waddle through the airport at like 3:30 in the morning, you know, half dressed. And they throw me on a plane, window seat, shoving me in the remaining seats, fly into San Diego. Even at this moment, it's interesting because this is kind of vague. I definitely remember the McCarran Airport. I definitely remember their strategy of putting me at the window. I was like, wow, these guys are good. But I don't remember, to be totally honest with you, the whole drive from San Diego to Mexico. But I do remember intimately driving up to the school. The school is it got 18-foot concrete walls all the way around it, and these orange gates. It's Mexico.
Yeah.
These orange gates, and they opened them up, and I'm like, whoa, like this is not what they were fucking telling me.
Doesn't look like a school to me.
Yeah, this doesn't look like they were telling me there's girls, there's co-ed. This is just a way for you to get a break from society, reset, and come back. If they told me that it was a lockdown facility where you'll be for 16 months, I might have killed somebody trying to get out of the situation.
Right.
So you got to sell the story right. And so I roll up, I go inside, and they're checking me in and all this stuff, and they're like, hey, I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but I needed to start realizing where I was. So they call this guy on the radio in Spanish to come and get me. The guy walks through 5 doors to get to me, and then we have to walk back through the same 5 doors. And I just remember seeing this huge key ring on his, and unlock through a door, unlock through a door, unlock through a door. And then I go into the facility. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like in my brain, I'm just thinking,
prison.
Yeah, it was a prison.
Yeah,
it was a luxury prison, more focused on emotional rehabilitation and discipline than like sit there and jerk off and give each other tattoos.
Yeah,
you know. So now I'm in the bathroom, and this kid comes out of the stall dressed in a uniform. I assume that was probably going to be the norm.
Shaved head, right?
Shaved head. That's it. Uniform, shaved head. And I look at him thinking, going back into your dad's thing is, how do I start getting more information? I'm charismatic. I got to start using all the tools I got here.
Yeah.
I go, hey, where the fuck am I? What is this place? And he won't talk to me. Doesn't even look at me. And that was the rule. You weren't allowed to look at new kids or talk to them. You weren't allowed to talk without permission. So if that kid would have responded once I learned the rules, he would have been smoked.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he was, it was structured so that he could not respond. He looks at me, or he doesn't look at me and doesn't respond. And I'm just like, dude, this is even weirder now. Okay, so then they take me back out. I get checked in. I come back in, and they take me to the 3rd floor. And they're explaining to me, okay, we're going to shave your head. and put you in a uniform. And I'm like, okay, I could swing the head shaving. I could swing the uniform. I wasn't really going nuts yet. And then they sit me down in this room because it was an old hotel. So if you can envision a long hallway with rooms, they take you all the way to the back room, put you on the left, and you're sitting between two bunk beds, which the room, for visual perspective, is there was this concrete platform in the middle, which originally was to accommodate like a king mattress. So obviously they're not giving us king mattresses. So they ditched that, but the concrete pad is still in the middle, and they put bunk beds on the right and left of it. So you would step up to get into your bunk bed or whatever it was onto this platform. So I'm sitting on this cold tile platform, and the supervisor of the whole school comes in and starts having to, you have to do this with every kid, letting them know what they're in for. Oh, God. You know, and the second that he told me that I could be there for 12 to 24 months, I lost it.
Oh my God.
That was the moment that I lost it. And I'm like, you know, at 16, you're thinking your driver's license 2 weeks away,
Yes.
you know, is a fucking eternity, let alone 24 months. You know, there goes prom, there goes Nick Wahidi's, there goes everything. There goes driving with my friends, there goes football, there goes soccer, there goes sex with hot chicks, there goes, you know, the whole nine. And as a high school thinking 16-year-old, and I lost it. And I was like, fuck you. You know, I took my energy intentionally to the next level, thinking maybe I'd get a result. And my mom doesn't know that she sent me here. This isn't what she signed up for. You guys sold her bullshit. You know, this guy told me this. Get my mom on the phone right now. No. Get her on the fucking phone. No.
Oh, my God.
You're not going to see your mom for 6 months.
Oh, my God.
Like, you're in a lockdown facility. I'm like, fuck you. So I started getting really erratic. And to the point where they were probably concerned. And they call Arturo to come in the room. And Arturo is the size of that door.
Holy
shit. He runs in and he grabs me by the back of my shirt, the back of my pants, and fucking picks me up like I'm a rag doll and slams me on that concrete pad, lifts my head up, puts my chin down, grabs my arms, puts them behind my back and the back of my waist, pulls my legs up, and fucking holds me like this.
Holy shit.
And I sat in that position for like 30 minutes. And if I wouldn't have calmed down, I would have sat in that position for 4 hours. And then if that happens, it's called R&R, R. And the reality is, in this situation, was if you're an incredibly rebellious kid, then it's first 4 hours on the ground in that position. You can take breaks here and there, but you need to get 4 hours in. And then once you're done with that 4 hours, you either have to hold a domino or a piece of paper on the wall with your forehead and your nose for another 4 hours. And you can take breaks, but you got to get an accumulation of a total of 4 hours. And then after that 4 hours, you go to a thing called worksheets. And worksheets is where you sit with your legs together, your back straight, and your head facing forward, and you listen to tapes like Catcher in the Rye, for that 30-minute tapes that tell stories. And then you have to take a test on each one of those stories, and you have to score 70% or more to remove that half hour. Now, if you fail the test, you don't get credit for the half hour. If your legs open up, you lost the half hour. If you slouch your back, you lost that half hour. If somebody walks in and you look to the right or left, you lose that half hour. And the staff would fuck with us and come in there and throw a book on the ground. The loudest noise ever in this concrete building, scare the shit out of all of us. And they go, you all just lost your half hour.
Oh, my God.
You know, and so I thankfully did not have to go do the domino or worksheets that day. I did end up getting in trouble, which is natural in the school, but very little trouble. Some kids lived in fucking worksheet and listened to those tapes, right? You know, but I did get, I think I went 12 times or something like that, which wasn't very much over 16 months.
Sure.
And I did. I had to sit. I found ways to hold my legs. It was this move.
Oh my God.
You know, because your body's just dying. You know, but there was lots of extremes in that space. But what it basically did is it taught me the summary of that school was, let's stop this child in its tracks. Let's pull out a chainsaw, no fucking scalpel, and rip this dude's chest open, pull out all of his guts, rearrange them the right way, sew him back up, give him time to heal. Is he healed? Yes, send him back into society. And that was like a metaphor for what it was, because it's very similar to the military. You know, they stripped me of my ego.
I was going to say, it's like Navy SEAL shit.
It was. The level of workouts, you know, if I wanted to get through worksheets and I couldn't sit anymore, then I could opt for a workout. The workouts were like so intensive that honestly, our goal was to work ourselves so hard that we threw up, because that would allow us to take a break. And so that would get you like 2 hours off of your worksheets time or so. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I only opted for working out once because I was like, that was so brutal. I'd rather just listen to the tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and so it was a really structured environment, and we had group every single day. The other thing was you couldn't talk without permission, and by not being able to talk without permission, you became incredibly in tune. Like you could have a full conversation based on body language.
Right.
I'm not kidding. Like
Wow.
a full understanding of what this person wanted, just based on body language. Not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Sign language.
no, it was like energy exchange
Yes.
mixed with body language. So I became really in tune with energy exchange and in tune with body language. And then once you were allowed to talk, now you had an understanding of energy, body language, and they were very, very adamant about ensuring that we had a clear understanding of how to communicate clearly and properly. And if you didn't, you got disciplined.
Sure.
And you'd have to do it again. And like, there was this one time where you go through this one seminar and they teach you, may I make a request? That's a term that you don't realize is a very powerful term. Instead of saying, I want, now you're defensive. Never ask why questions. Why did you wear that? That's a defensive statement. What were you considering this morning when you put that on? Oh, well, I really like this versus, so we would be challenged to communicate clearly and well. And if we didn't, we were disciplined.
So you're grateful for that experience.
It's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my whole life.
That's crazy.
And as I get older, there's other great things that have happened, but that is a pinnacle point in my life. That I was in the school for 6 months before I saw my mom. Only letters back and forth. And when I first saw my mom for the first time after 6 months, it was actually like a Matrix-like experience. I walked into the room and I literally felt the room like bow.
Wow.
And then back with energy with my mom.
Wow.
Like that's a very authentic statement. Like the energy that exploded between our two bodies from having missed each other so
I'm
much and loved each
sure.
other so much and not having been able to see each other was like never forgettable. So 6 months, and then I was there for 10 months on upper levels, which is levels 4 through 6. And I embraced the challenge so aggressively that I was in charge of, I was called the trainer, which was the leader of all of the boys. And there was 365 boys and 12 families.
Wow.
And of the 12 families, those 12 people reported to me. The staff wasn't even there to run it.
Wow.
That's the crazy thing. The kids ran it. The staff were there to manage. It would make sure no one did anything dumb. So we create our own system inside of the school.
Wow.
So at 16, I had 12 employees basically that were running 30 plus kids in each family.
That's
and
wild.
So, and if some shit went down, I was held responsible. Now being the trainer, I got additional benefits. I could go eat whenever I wanted to. I could have an extra cup of juice. I could take a 20-minute nap in my room if I needed to. And those benefits were so incredible. It'd be like
course.
someone giving you $100 million
Yeah.
right now. Like that level of benefit in that structured environment was like incredible. But it came with tremendous responsibility. And so all of that discipline, all of that I learned at 16 years old.
Yeah.
When I got out, I thought I was going to fucking kill myself. I actually had a moment where I thought I was going to kill myself, believe it or not, because I felt so different than the world.
Wow.
Like
More
my brain
knowledgeable?
understood.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I understood why I was feeling
You
something.
were like in the Matrix.
Yeah, well, now we all get it, but it came at such a slow
Yeah.
time, because time
Over
creates
time.
this understanding of your mind, but that happens slowly. And you could come to me and vocalize how you're feeling, and I would be able to understand it and relate and communicate back.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you took that same scenario and went and hung out with a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
that you'd think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And then you'd go to the next 16-year-old thinking that one will maybe help you a little bit more. And it's just nobody's like me.
Yeah.
So I was so advanced at that age that it made me feel really, really different and weird. And I thought I was ruined. I thought I took the red pill.
Yeah.
And was never coming back.
Wow.
So that's my Mexico story.
I was gonna say, and it's in Mexico because I don't think that shit would fly here.
No, they
It's
actually,
Mexico for a reason.
it was in Ensenada, Mexico. They had them in Jamaica, Samoa, Ensenada, Mexico, Montana, and Utah.
Oh, wow.
So depending on the severity of the kid, that's where they would send you. So
yeah.
I wasn't as bad. So I didn't go to like Samoa or Jamaica where like those kids literally fucking slept under like straw huts and like on concrete.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I heard stories that they were like sucking the bone marrow out of their chicken bones because they were so hungry. You know, soaking bones and then eating them because they were so hungry. And this all sounds crazy. Krystal and I were sitting in bed watching a Netflix thing pops on. And do you remember what it was called?
Camp Hell, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And it was about the school
Shut
in Utah.
the fuck up.
And as I'm listening to it, you'll start going, Josh wasn't fucking lying. Because the stories that they tell are equally as
So are
extreme.
they putting it down, or are they just sharing their experience?
Oh, let's see. Well, so just like in life, you know,
Okay.
there's people that are going to say this is the worst podcast they've
Yeah.
ever listened to in their
Right,
lives, and
right.
some are
Yeah.
going to say it's the greatest. So
But
yes, a
every
lot of
experience
people
is
said it
different.
was the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say because it shit. I usually don't forget, but it obviously. Oh, you said that a lot of the people that you went there with, a few of them have passed away, and a few of them.
No, when
Well, that was his
the
core
kids that I was getting in
That was
trouble
his
with in
friends.
Vegas
I
before I
misunderstood
went there.
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, are you still friends with people that you were in
No,
there
because
with?
it was from all over the country.
Oh, wow,
You know,
okay.
and it was before Facebook and
Are
social
they
media.
successful? Like, do you think that shaped
You know,
them?
I have a call with a guy today that
Do you
reached out to
really?
me. He
They were friends at the school.
yeah, we were friends at the
That's
school.
cool.
And, you know, there was a lot of stuff that I could go down that road that I apply to today. You know, like before I left, note passing was like murdering somebody. Yeah, literally, you could not pass notes. It was totally illegal and not allowed. I'm getting ready to leave. Like, this is a big thing. I'm leaving this place I've lived for 16 months. So I get on the bus, I reach into one of my pockets, and there's a note in there. And I'm thinking, fuck, dude, he's going to get me in trouble. I'm going to go down for this. But I opened it up. It was this beautiful note written by this guy, Dustin. And he wrote everything that he wrote. And then at the end, he said, if they're not talking about you, they're not making enough noise. Or you're not making enough noise. If they're not talking about you, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And that was because I was hated as the trainer because I was like, nobody's sacrificing my position
Yeah.
because they are lazy or scandalous was the term that we used. So I was a very strict trainer, and the school loved me because I ran that fucking thing like beautifully.
Yeah.
And I would often, at the end of the day, go and sit with him on the balcony, another privilege that we had with him, Sean, and Dustin. And I would be emotional and express all of my,
Amazing.
feelings of like, dude, I just feel like everybody hates me. I feel like, but it's either I support them in being scandalous and I get in trouble,
Yeah.
or I hold them accountable and I stay out of trouble.
Wow.
Life shit.
Yeah. Sure.
And I remember always I'd vent to them on the balcony, and they were my sub trainers, and that was what they would always say.
That's amazing.
If you're not being talked about, you're not making enough, or you're not doing enough.
Is he the one you're having the call with today?
Sean is one of them. He'll remember that
Amazing.
One
conversation.
of the three.
Yeah,
That
that
is
was
so cool.
a big steal of your guys' time, so I'm grateful for
That's
it.
one of the best stories I've ever heard.
I
That's
love.
crazy.
I can't even. I like sit there like I can't. I'm hanging on every word. Like I
What's
just.
next? What next?
I couldn't wait. I know you've told that before, but it's just incredible. It really is.
Yeah, it blows my mind every time.
I know.
Could you
I don't have
imagine
any
that shit
stories
today,
like
but-
that.
And those
Yeah.
places
No
are still
stories
around,
like-
right?
No, they all got shut down,
really?
and that school actually got shut down with federales.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the federales rolled in with guns and everything, and the kids were there. And
How scary.
Yeah.
They probably thought it was part of it though. They were like, oh, they're
Level
trained-
5.
Yes. Oh, guys, thank you so
Yeah.
much for making time for us. I know your time
No,
is so precious, and it means a lot. It really does.
We're thankful because we said this before. The one that we did with you guys was probably one of our favorite ones to listen to. It was the
Oh,
most
really?
entertaining. Yeah, absolutely.
That means a lot. Thank
It's
you.
just fun. It's easy to be around good people that have good energy and are, you guys are great
That parent
people.
the same.
Yeah, that parent the same. And
That's it. We appreciate you guys, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
our pleasure. Thank you.